Alright, so today I want to discuss something that I've been talking about a lot, sporadically, and on streams. A lot of people, been saying, man, Grand Cross used to be so much better. What happened? When was it that it all started to go down? If you ask old JP player, a lot of them will say that it's when Global came out. That's when Grand Cross started to, become more pay to win and shit like that, right? But when I look back, I think that there is a clear point to the start of the end, the beginning of the end, it's the point where I think to me is when they stopped trying as much, but not because the developers are just lazy. It's just because they're understaffed. Now, Grand Cross, if you've been playing for a long time, you might remember they used to make quality of life updates and new, actually fresh content very regularly. It was one of the things that stood out the game amongst others because some of the licenses and IP is not very up there, right? So the way Grand Cross became one of the most popular gacha games was because of how good the game was. Specifically, that's the reason why I started playing the game. It was not because of Seven License IP, although I did start playing because Asuna came out. He was the only character I cared about in the story, right? It's because the game was just good, right? That was the thing that was holding the game, was the fact that it was good. Unlike games that are based on big IPs, which just get carried by the IPs for the most part, the game can still be decent, but Grand Cross was carried because the game was good. Not the IP. The IP dragged it down, if anything. So, and Grand Cross knows. That's why they released so many original characters. What happened, right? And I think there's a clear point to it, and that a lot of people, might realize when I say it, if you haven't heard it before. Oh, damn it. Damn it. I forgot. Okay. Origin. Origin is the reason why Grand Cross is bad. Genshin Impact is the reason why Grand Cross is bad. And it's conspiratorial, I know. But since the ending of 2020 is when it all started to go down. And it makes so much sense. Hear me out. Genshin Impact comes out. It was so immensely popular from day one. It was insane. If you weren't around on the community when Genshin Impact came out, it was insane because no gacha game, except maybe FGO, transcended the community of gacha games. FGO was more of a joke. To be honestly, outside of the community of gacha games, FGO was more oh, people spend so much money on this game, type of thing, right? It wasn't like everyone wants to play it. It was more why is so many people spending money on this game? But Genshin Impact was so immensely popular that it transcended everything. Everyone was playing it. Literally, if you had a video game console, if you had a computer, a phone, you were playing Genshin Impact. And you can see September 28th, the game came out, and around a few weeks, to a month and a half later, all the talk about Genshin Impact was how much money it was making. It wasn't even about the game anymore. It was just about how much money it was making. It was raking in so much money. And I can see that being every single gacha developer or gacha publisher looking at it and be we need to make this. We need our own Genshin Impact. Isn't it more clear? They took every good developer that was working on Grand Cross and moved it to start working on a new game called Seven License Origin. They have the IP. Grand Cross did make them so much, and it was super popular. So they were we can work with the IP again. We have the rights, we don't need a new IP. We can work with this one. Let's take all of our good developers and put in Origin. Because I tell you, if you go back here and look at the history of characters coming out, so end of 2020, September, keep in mind, characters are made months in advance for when they actually come out. They are worked on, at least, months in advance. So, if you take a look here, remember how good the time was when the 1 came out. That's November of 2020. That's probably still when the good developers working the game, and they give a free offer. Ever since this banner, the game has not been the same. I promise you. Ever since Assault Meliodas, the game has not been the same. 2021 was when the game started to become very weird. Was it Merlin the first fest? Yeah. Okay, yeah. Merlin was, right? The first festival banner that didn't come with a free character. I guess Goddess Liz came with... Was Hawking the banner? I don't think he... I'm not remembering as well, but Goddess was... First anniversary was an L. It was a horrible celebration, but every single banner, festival-wise, came with a free character on that banner that was pretty good. Green Fraudron, he was given for free, and he was in the banner as a side character. Green Arthur, fantastic unit till this day, right? And then Merlin comes out. There was Denzel, but Denzel was in this awful banner. I don't even talk about it. If you were there, you know that banner was so dog shit. That banner was atrocious. And then we had the collabs. Then Chandler and Zeldris, that was good, but they didn't give Chandler for free. And you know, then Purgatory Bond, which came out right after Arthur, was so predatory because Arthur's banner lasted 2 weeks, and then Bond came out when Arthur was supposed to leave. So you'd feel ashamed for skipping Arthur for the festival because Arthur was necessary. They did extend the banner. I remember that. They extended the banner because of that. Listen, after that point, I'm telling you, after like Assault Melee, that's when the game started to become what it is now, or started this path. Ludociel followed up by Kusak on the same month, or like in the span of 2 weeks. These types of things, again, started happening after you started working on Origin. Because a game like this is being worked on for a long time before they even give a trailer. Before they even know if they're gonna, have a release date. Now, the release date is not really confirmed, but they have it on their launcher, the new launcher for the Marble 2023. So Origin is coming out next year, and I'm very excited for it. But it leaves a annoying remark that it's because of Origin that Green Cross are declining, and they have been talking about I've seen only really made one interview for Origin about like how it's going to be. They're working quite a lot on this game, and I think the reason why they even made new bosses for Grand Cross, like genuinely, how Ragnarok has come out after this point, right? I think the only reason why Ragnarok exists in Grand Cross is because of Origin. They're probably because they say, right? Yeah, they say that they are they're using Origin as like a basis for the original story in Ragnarok as a basis on their story in Origin. Like they're practicing making original stories with Ragnarok. I think the only reason why they even bothered making an original story for Grand Cross again was because they needed practice for Origin. I'm telling you, I think right now all we're seeing, like these character models they're making, everything they're doing, to me just seems like things they're doing for Origin. Like any new character that comes out, they're gonna use the character models in Origin. They've already shown the trailer to the character models and animations, and everything they have for Grand Cross is being transported to Origin. Like these the attacks and everything, like there's a DN in the trailer that does the same attack as she does in Grand Cross. So it's like that's what I'm thinking all the time when I see a new ultimate animation, when I see a new attack animation. They're popping off with some attack animations. Like Trader Melee has honestly one of the best level 3 animations in the game. I think his AoE animation is so sick. He cuts through, like it does make like a close-up on him. Wait. And I can't like think that that's not because they want him to have really sick animations for Origin, right? So 2023, the game is going to come out, and what will happen to Grand Cross, I don't know. They say they're going to keep, doing updates for the game. They say they're going to keep it around, but are they going to completely move the whole staff? Because I think, right, all their good developers have already moved. What about the bad ones? They're gonna move it as well, or what's gonna happen? It's no secret. Like I've been talking about it for a while. The game has been declining, and I think that's why. But maybe other people have a different conspiracy theory behind it.